Okay, Michael Bisping, big rematch for you. Did you ever think you'd get back to world championship level again at this stage in your career?
No, I didn't honestly kind of put that out like it wouldn't happen before I retired again, have another title shot. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity, for sure.
Tell us about how you found out about the shot. I understand from Mike that it was actually Dana White who actually called him and said, we're thinking about Dan Henderson for this fight. So it actually wasn't Mike that asked for the fight, it was the UFC that asked Dan if he wanted to fight yourself. So what does that mean to you to know that the UFC brass wanted to give you the opportunity, and how did all that come about? How did you hear about it?
Well, I think I had heard quite a bit about it over social media from all the fans wanting it, and you know, I know that the UFC pays attention to that a little bit, and you know, I think we had talked to them a little bit about, you know, wanting to set up a meeting to see what's next, and they said that they're considering that fight. And you know, at that point, obviously, you know, I got a little bit excited, but not quite yet, and you know, eventually it definitely happened.
Now the deal's done, the fight's signed, scheduled for Manchester. It's been a long time since you and Mike last sort of crossed the swords, so to speak. You had that rivalry in Tough. It was ended very emphatically at UFC 100. Mike's gone on and done remarkably well, given just how badly he was beaten by you on that night. What do you make of his career since you faced him back at UFC 100?
Well, even before then, I thought he was a very tough, good fighter that used his tools great for his own style, and you know, was a tough guy that just kept going and wore guys out and beat most guys because the pressure he puts on them, and you know, so I knew before I fought him the first time that he was a tough opponent, and you know, after I fought him, he would do well and then have a bad loss or bad timing, I should say, to where he was almost at that title shot, and then he'd lose, and then he'd win a couple and lose again when he was getting close to the title shot again. So, you know, he's been a guy that just kept trying to stay with it, and you know, I think I don't know, for whatever reason, all the stars aligned, and somebody got hurt, and he got a title shot, and you know, I was supposed to fight a month and a half before that, and Machida tested positive, so I got bumped to the same card that Michael Bisping got put onto, and you know, I think, I don't know, somebody upstairs wanted this fight to happen again, and wanted to give me a title shot. I think, you know, there's a lot that had to happen for that to you know, take place, and you know, I'm just thankful that all the fans had me in mind when they wanted to see that rematch and give me a title shot.
There was a lot of bad blood going into the first fight, and obviously the way the fight finished, in some people's eyes, and certainly back home where I'm from in the UK, there was a little bit of controversy there, because you'd knock the guy out clearly and then you hit him with the big forearm, which for some people who are quite new to the sport, it sort of made them recoil a little bit. If that was to happen again, let's say you land the H-bomb again at UFC 204, are you gonna? Is that something you would do again, or was it just that in the moment there was such bad blood at the time that you just wanted to put that exclamation point on?
No, actually, it had nothing to do with bad blood or anything. I've done it before to other fighters, and after that to other fighters, that you want to make sure the fight's over. I was getting up while the referee was trying to stop it already when I fought Michael. I've done the same exact thing to Vanderlei, almost identical, but hit him 2 or 3 times just to make sure the fight was over. You know, and I like Vanderlei. You know, it wasn't any bad blood at all. It was me in fight mode, making sure that the referee stops the fight. I've been the nice guy before in fights, and knocked a guy down where he's out, and I don't jump on top of him, and the referee tells me to keep going because the guy starts coming too. And you know, it makes the fight a little bit tougher after that. You know, maybe it ends up being a close decision, or maybe I'll lose. I don't want to take those chances, so I want to make sure that the fight's over. My last fight against Hector Lombard, he was knocked out, and I elbowed him 1 or 2 more times to make sure the fight was over. So, it's one of those things where, it might not have looked the best, but he fell down. I was already jumping in the air to finish him. And it was just one punch, and I got back up.
Yeah, and you're going to be fighting on Bisping's home soil, but the UK MMA fans are incredibly knowledgeable. They'll have a huge amount of respect for you for sure, but the vast majority will nonetheless be cheering on Mike. Have you got a message to those British fans who will be fans of yourself, but will also more than likely be cheering on your opponent when you step in the octagon in Manchester?
Oh, I just appreciate them being fans of mine, and it's no hard feelings if they're kind of cheering for their countrymen. It's no hard feelings at all, but I definitely appreciate them supporting me over the years.
Great stuff. And the last one from me, and I appreciate the time. How do you see the fight finishing? How do you see getting the job done and walking away with that shiny gold belt?
I don't care how it's done as long as I'm the winner.
Great stuff. All the best. Thanks very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Cheers.